Hello. All right. I need a show of hands. Raise your hand. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have predicted, about 2/3 of you. You are forward thinkers, but it sounds good. It's actually not. I'm going to explain why. There are two types of idiots, basically. The reverse thinker has an overactive, overdeveloped antithetical cortex, which obscures the visual cortex back here, and they do the opposite of everything they're told. Okay? So this guy, in effect, walks. So the forward thinker has, anatomically speaking, kind of an empty head. So there's this echo effect. So what they take in kind of overwhelms what little brain they have. So they do exactly what they're told. This guy does not walk. Now, the reverse thinker is very dangerous, specifically to themselves. Natural selection and dictators have kept their population in check by a factor of 2 to 1 compared to forward thinkers, who are also very dangerous, but almost always to other people. They're the ones who do exactly as they're told, they're easily manipulated, and they're the first ones to raise their hands without asking why. Very dangerous people. Now, we can map this out on a matrix. The y-axis is the mindset of the audience. From asking questions always to never asking questions, and the x-axis is the message itself. Is it straightforward or is it ironic? We can plot forward psychology up here on the right, reverse psychology on the lower left, and it shares the same space as satire. And you can go on to Wikipedia and see all the forms of satire and plot it out in this quadrant as I have done here. So you're asking, well, Ross, what's in the other two quadrants? Well, metaphors and curmudgeons kind of gravitate to the lower right, and giant banners the size of aircraft carriers end up kind of up there in that space. Now, speaking of propaganda, it ends up in any quadrant. So up here you've got forward, we can do it. Down here you've got metaphorical, when you ride alone, you ride with Hitler. I don't know why he shows up in my presentations over and over. We have the reverse, go ahead, take the day off. And I don't know why war brings out the worst in us, but it does. So you can eat the fruit of any stupid tree in this garden, except for the tree of knowledge. If God wasn't using reverse psychology, he actually wants us all to be naked and living like hippies. So you really don't want to have sex with me. It's a bad idea to use this as reverse psychology. I know it does work. I happen to know it works 35.2% of the time. But you probably need better odds, so I would go with forward psychology. Now, how can you identify those people? They're almost always in crowds, and they're the slaves to fashion, especially the young ones. And they're very suggestible. They can have nostalgia for the 80s that they can't even possibly remember. Now, the person susceptible to reverse psychology is the iconoclast kind of hipster, basically. Now, this is the douchebag version. Go ahead and take that in if you want for a moment. So unfortunately, what can happen, though, is reverse psychosis can set in, and it's kind of an infinite feedback loop. Now, it's reversed this hipster all the way back to the 1880s, but that's one hell of a fixie, I'll tell you. But hipsterism is not a disease. You can be born both a hipster and super gay at the same time. And I do believe also, by the way, that same-sex couples as well as hipster couples should be allowed to marry. I needed to find out what the portion of the society was susceptible to forward thinking. So I came up with this test. Would a stranger, if asked or told to, hold a silly umbrella? So I used two different kinds to account for variables of taste. And it turns out it was really interesting, and they would. Really surprising finding is that drunk millennial women with friends in the rain were more likely to hold the umbrella by a factor of 26. So I needed something more scientific. I ran 2 search ads on the word news. The first one used reverse psychology. No news here, go away. Seriously, go somewhere else. The second one used forward psychology. Seriously, you must visit this website. And guess what happened? Well, reverse psychology actually had a good showing. 35% of the population actually clicked on the opposite of what they were looking for. And 65% of the idiots clicked on the forward version. So I know what you're thinking. This is really bad news for all of us, right? It's really bad news, actually, because every single hipster did exactly as they were told. They held the umbrella. So God, whatever you do, do not help us. Thanks.